Back in his office, Sonjin was unable to control his anger. He tried calling Minsu again, but her phone was unreachable. His stress levels spiked. He had important work to finish, but the thought of another man with his drunk fiancée drove him insane. The fact that he had just heard Woobin confessing to her only made it worse. Checking his phone, he saw that Yuna had posted several pictures and videos of herself, Minsu, and Woobin. Using the posts to determine their location, he wasted no time and rushed out. Sonjin drove all over looking for any sign of Minsu and Woobin, but he couldn't find them. Finally, he saw them sitting in the park. It seemed as if they were having a great time. Without wasting any time, he rushed out of his car and went straight to where they were seated. Both of them seemed surprised to see him. Minsu stood up and told him that she had tried calling him. Without saying anything, Sonjin took her hand and got her into his car. He then went back to Woobin and, looking at him, asked why he was with Minsu that late and why he had not informed him that he was going out with her. Woobin, unserious, told Sonjin that they were only out for a couple of drinks and that there was nothing to worry about. Sonjin, realizing that Woobin was a bit drunk, walked away and left him there. The next morning, Minsu woke up in Sonjin's house. She looked around the room and tried to remember exactly what had happened. She walked out of the room and into the kitchen, where Sonjin was sitting and having breakfast. She sat next to him and asked what had happened. Sonjin looked at her, seeming upset, and stated that he had been working hard every day for them to finally be together, but she was out drinking and having fun with Woobin. Minsu, confused, looked at him and mentioned that she had only gone out with Woobin last night to celebrate the success of his exhibition. Sonjin didn't want to listen. He told her that he wasn't comfortable with his woman going out drinking with another man and spending the entire night talking to him. He said this as he concentrated on his food. Minsu, realizing that Sonjin was jealous, laughed a bit and asked if he was being jealous. Sonjin informed her that he had every right to be because he wasn't comfortable with her spending a night out drinking with Woobin. Minsu told him that she thought Woobin was his friend and asked why he was acting that way. Sonjin stood, looked at her, and told her to eat. After he was done, he was going to personally talk to Woobin. He said this as he walked out, leaving Minsu sitting there confused. Woobin sat in his office, stressed out. Everything that had happened last night was coming back to him. He couldn't believe that he had actually confessed to Minsu. He hit his head just thinking about how stupid he was for doing that. He hoped Minsu didn't remember anything, and if she did, he was prepared to lie to her and say he was joking and that it was probably the alcohol talking. As he sat there deep in thought, Sonjin walked in. He could tell he was not in a good mood. Sonjin sat down and asked Woobin if he was free to talk. Woobin nodded and asked if he was okay. He further apologized for being irresponsible by letting Yuna and Minsu drink that much. Sonjin looked at him as he explained. After he was done talking, Sonjin asked one simple question. Looking him straight in the eyes, he asked if he was in love with Minsu. Woobin froze. He didn't expect Sonjin to ask him such a question and didn't know what to say. Sonjin, realizing Woobin's answer from his silence, proceeded to ask how long he had been in love with Minsu and what he had expected Minsu to do last night after confessing to her. Woobin broke the silence and told Sonjin that he hadn't expected it to happen and that he was doing his best to stay away and not listen to his feelings. Sonjin was hurt to hear this. He told him that confessing his feelings to his woman was a betrayal and that he should have known which lines not to cross. Woobin, realizing his mistake, tried to explain that it was the alcohol talking and that he would have never done that if he were sober. Sonjin looked at him again and told him that he was going to ask him one final question and that he should be honest. He asked Woobin what he would have done if Minsu had confessed back that she liked him too. Woobin went silent. He didn't want to answer that question because he knew it would hurt his friend. Sonjin, hurt, stood up from his seat. Facing Woobin, he told him to pay Minsu all her salary and informed him that she was resigning and that he should stay away from both of them. He said this as he walked out. Woo-bin sat there, his heart breaking. He didn't mean to fall for his friend's woman, and more importantly, go behind Sonjin's back and confess his feelings to Minsu.